All right, welcome everyone to this video update on 1.21.70, which should be releasing today as we speak. So in this overview, what we're going to cover is a whole set of new updates of what you can find inside of 1.21.70. If you're a creator building some cool content and you want to take advantage of all the latest stuff, this video is going to tell you what's new in 1.21.70 that you can take advantage of in Bedrock. And I'm joined today by Angelica Kosanic, who's from the creator team as well as Bryant Hawthorne, also PMs on the creator team who work alongside me with all the various features and capabilities that are coming out. How's it going?
It's going well. Yourself?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. It's a gloomy Monday, but you know, it's bright inside here, so all good. Yeah, and lots
Spring.
of cool stuff to show. All right, let's go dig right into the slides and cover everything that's coming up in the 1.21.70 updates. So we have a link to the actual documentation on aka.ms/mc12170 with the text-based equivalent of this and links to the various bits and pieces of documentation. But Angelica, what's coming up in 1.21.70?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go over some input APIs, some exciting block stuff, and then Brian's going to talk about editor. We can go to the next slide. So input APIs, these are really exciting. Just as a brief overview, being able to control button presses like jump, sneak, X and Y movement, X and Z movement. Yeah, and I think you have a demo.
Yeah, let's go dig straight into that. So if you remember a little bit about, let's see, let me go over into my command prompt like this, and let's go open up Visual Studio Code like this. All right, so we've got a very basic test project here that I started. I've done some light updates to it. You can start your own test project if you go to MC Tools, so mctools.dev. You can go save it to your local PC and you can have a project that you can hack around with. In this case, we're going to go show a little bit of input APIs in 1.21.70. And as I was saying, if you remember from the last update in 1.21.60, we had a number of input, I think it was input capability APIs or capabilities for detecting the types of devices. And this is kind of a complement to that. A lot of that work, it actually allows you to intercept a lot of the inputs that are going on inside of the world. So we're just going to paste in a whole bunch of code here. So what you can see from this is our main TypeScript function that we have over here. And what this says is every second, basically every 20 ticks, we're going to get all of the players and we're going to get their input info. So this is the new API that's available inside of 1.21.70. Then we're also going to get the movement vector. And what we're going to do is we're going to print that out. And the movement vector is X and Y, but I think Angelica was correct. And really, you should think about it as X and Z. So I don't know if we are going to fix that. Well, I guess we're releasing these APIs today, so it's too late to be fixed. Good times. All right, let's go take a look at what this looks like. I'm going to go come over into my command prompt like so, and npm run local deploy like this. So this is my swell code snippet. All right, and let's go load up Minecraft. So I've got this world that I've created over here, and let's go load this up. All right, so what you can see over here as I'm moving around is that, okay, on the left-hand side, it's printing out the current tick, and you can see that maybe you can hear this, but I'm holding down the W key, and you can see that the movement vector there says 1. Now, if I hit down the A key like this, now the X button says 1 like this. And if I jump like this, you can see that the jump is pressed. And if I hold down this, then you can see that the sneak is pressed. So this is pretty powerful and pretty interesting. I guess the other thing I should show you is I've also got my controller like this. And so if I'm a little bit more gentle with the controller like this, you can see that there's probably better ways to do it than this, but you can see that I'm intercepting the different inputs from my controller. In this case, when I move it all the way to the left or right, it just returns 1. But if I'm a little bit more gradual about it, then it will return the fractional amount of everything that's going on. And one of the very interesting things that this pairs well with is the input permissions command. So if I just say input permissions, input permissions set myself, and then I say, let's say movement, move left, disabled like this. and then say input permission set myself movement right is disabled, like so. Okay, so now when I hit A and D, I'm hitting them, but they're not actually moving. But you can see that the inputs are still being tracked in this as far as this API is concerned. So if you want to do something really custom, really funky, we should have a video out by the time you see this of some more interesting serving suggestions for working with these APIs. But what this shows you is that you can really control how the player can move throughout the world and still intercept all the right inputs that are coming from the player's control, irrespective of whether they're using a keyboard or, like, you know, in this case, they're using a controller, or maybe they're using a tablet and they've got some touch APIs. The input APIs are a unified approach to get it. One small caveat, these are all on the server. So the client is basically sending down the inputs over to the server. So there's probably a slight bit of lag in using some of these APIs as you go through it, but really exciting. It supports all kinds of cool, interesting gameplay that I'm sure you'll see in the coming months from various creators of all stripes, maybe you. So yeah, that's just a quick look at input APIs. Let's get back to the PowerPoint.
I loved how all the animals were super interested in that demo too.
Oh yeah,
over and mooing and chickens staring at you. Those are good.
The input APIs are a 3-move feature. I think actually we introduced the scale of spiciness last time. I don't think we brought that over this time, but we should adapt that into a moo scale or something like that.
Well, and one of my the things that I'm most excited to see with the input APIs are things that you combine with the camera. So if you do a top-down game and you have to go through a maze, you can't jump up on top of the blocks, for example. So that'll be really fun. All right. Block things coming out. So both I think there was one here, there might have been another one, but determining visuals of blocks. So if you can set the, is that a moo?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
I think there's a cow in the background. Maybe it's in your room.
Yeah, so replaceable is defining if a block can be placed on another block without a drop. We have some work here with adding with the tags that you can put on blocks and being able to match the tool and putting that combined with a loot table to make your custom weapon break a custom block and drop custom loot, those sorts of things. And we also have aim assist for the camera coming out, which is exciting. And it's supporting blocks and entities as part of that. We do know that we still need to do projectiles. So that is something that we are looking at. And then sound locators on entities. And I'll just kick it over to Mike for his demo.
All right, we'll come back to the cows and let's see. Let me go into my project over here. So first up, let's actually just go show the replaceable elements. So what I'm going to do here is let's go pop back into our world. And one of the things I have inside of this world is a custom block. It's a custom fish block that you'll be able to see. And so in that case, what I can do is I can say, okay, set block like this, and I'll say fish. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so this is my little fish bowl like this. And you'll see that when I look at this block and I say right click, like so, it'll kind of put it on top of the fish block. So that's kind of what you expect from Minecraft. But if I come over into my code like this, and I go into my custom JSON for the fish block like so, and then I just say Minecraft : replaceable like this, and it's just a simple presence component. You just have to put it in there and it will go ahead and work. And let me come back to my command prompt like this. And so you can see we're going to go deploy this to Minecraft. Let's go try this over here. I'm going to try reload all. I'm usually like a back out all the way and sort of reload it myself kind of a person, but in this instance, we're going to use the reload all command, which should just do the same and reload the world. Okay, so now that I've added the replaceable component, you can see that I'm going to look at this, I'm going to right click, and you can see that it replaced the fishbowl. Now you might be thinking like, well, okay, that's interesting. If you have, for example, something like grass, you know, grass is another instance of like replaceable where it's like, yeah, it's not so important of a block that you mind really too much if somebody replaces it. And so now you can make your own kind of grass style blocks and those kinds of things. The fishbowl probably wasn't a great example, but you get the idea. Okay, let's talk
Fish are
about
replaceable.
I'm sorry?
The fish are
Ye
replaceable.
Ooh, well, you know, goldfish, and never mind.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, what's next? Oh, let's talk about sound locators. So I'm gonna summon a custom mob here, and let's see, this is the test bones. Got this from a developer, so it's an awesome demo. You can see that what we've got here, there's a lot of trees around here, but what we've got here is basically a very large mob. It's basically an Enderman who's stretching, let's say. Let me expose the Enderman's arm. I shouldn't have done this in the middle of a forest. I'll go show you what the code looks like while we're there. Let's see, let me go first to my code function over here. Let's just go get rid of this because it's spamming my logs like that. Okay, so just to show you what this looks like under the covers, if we go to our geometry for that model that we're looking at, the bones, the Enderman, you can see that each of these, a lot of these different, let's see, there's a number of different bones here, and they should have a locator. Let's see. Oh yeah, so you can see that these all have like different types of locators. And then what you can do is you can, inside of their animation, let's see, where's the animations like this? You can see that in their, okay, yeah, so in the different animations, you can see that with the head, it's gonna play a sound effect either at the head or at the left arm or the right arm of the particular mob in question. And so, and then this is all wired into some expressions that basically tie a block property into, or an entity property into which sound should be playing. So hopefully now it's a little less noisy now that I've turned that scripting off. Let's go deploy this and come back in here, come back into Minecraft, and let's go see how this works real quick. Come back to our distended Enderman. And let's see, okay, all right. Let's try this one more time. Entity event, let's see. Oh, you know, that's what I was doing. I was just doing it backwards. Silly, silly. All right, and then we can say test locate head like this. All right, so now you can see that hopefully the sound's coming across, and it's probably a little hard since you don't have my headphones on, but the sound is actually coming from the head of this. But if I want to, I can say locate the sound at the right side. And so, for some reason, it seems like it's coming from their. Oh, it's facing this way. Oh, sorry, never mind. All right, yeah. So this is coming from their right arm, and again, it's probably hard to hear a little bit, but the sound effect is actually coming from their right arm. It's not coming from their left arm. It gets quieter as I move towards the left arm. You get the idea. So this is actually a really powerful capability, especially if you're building super large mobs where you really want to control the sound and the location of this. This is something requested by creators, a simple fix that just makes everything a little bit more fun. Let's see, last command, let's go camera, let's see, a set, Minecraft, what is it, orbit?
Horrifying sounds in the background happening.
Yeah. Let's just do this real quick. Stop it. All right, you guys don't need to watch me doing this. All right.
Look away.
This is not good. Okay, let me just fly away. That's probably a better solution to this problem. All right. All right, let's try this again. All right, camera at a set. There's so many different overloads here. Minecraft. What is it?
Follow orbit.
I'm sorry?
Orbit.
Follow orbit.
Follow orbit.
Yeah, that's right.
Colon. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Like this. All right, so So now we've got the orbit camera, and thanks for the help there, Angelica. Let's see, we can now use the aim assist command and aim assist, and we can say at s set, we can just say like 80, 80, 80. You're kind of selecting like a wide field of view and a wide distance. And then you can say distance like this. And so now you can see, oh, I need to set a more conservative distance. So let's try this. All right, so now you can see that, okay, this is the aim assist mode, and essentially it's going to point at what you can go select. So again, as Angelica said in the overview, if you wanted to create alternate gameplay styles, maybe combined with the input command. For some reason, that's not showing up very well. It's a little dark. All right, yeah, let's see. You can see that you're just setting different blocks and different aim assists and those kinds of things. So again, coupled with the input permissions and the input APIs that we just talked about, you can really create some nice stuff using all these capabilities put together. And we'll quit out of there so that we don't have to hear that Enderman anymore. All right, so that was just a quick overview of those kinds of things, everything going on, replaceable component, sound locators, and the like.
Yeah. Well, and one more thing with aim assist, you can set the color. We don't have it. We have a target, a box on the blocks, and then a target in the center of entities, and you can set the texture to this.
Nice. Yeah. You can set the full texture. So, if you wanted a more goth style or different types of styles, you can totally go for it.
Great. Yeah, and Mike, I'll let you speak a little bit to the Liquid APIs. This is basically just the APIs for some of the blockworks that have come out.
Yeah. If you were following last month, we had a number of new APIs that you could add to your blocks to make them support Liquid in a number of different ways. And if you're building a set of tools that maybe works with a broader world and you want to discover like, well, how is this block going to work with Liquid flowing through it, or whether it can be destroyed by Liquid? Now there's a full set of APIs across block and block permutation to go ahead and actually, test for those kinds of things. So, an API set gets better the more APIs you have, and these are some awesome APIs for discovering how Liquid works in the Minecraft world. So next up, we just have some editor things. So Brian, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so this release marks editor, what we're calling version 0.9. So some really cool things involved in this one. Mike, if you want to hit play on that video. The first up is Realms integration. And so this allows us to basically have these big brush strokes. You can create your world just exactly what you want to do here. I'm just using a couple of brushes just to kind of show the power of this. Can go just drop some mobs down. So in this case, I'm going to take some pigs and just drop these down. And now this is where the magic happens. So now once you get your world exactly how you want it, couple clicks here. Once you have signed in and you have an active Realm subscription, it has now published that to the realms. And so what you're seeing in the video, I'm going here to basically load into that realm, and you'll see the world I just created. So this is super powerful, allowing you to kind of test on different platforms, unlocks different gameplay through editor as well. So if I wanted to share this with my friends, we could essentially just jump in directly to this realm right here and just test and play this creation. So we'll wait for this to load here, and voila, you'll be able to see the pigs I just dropped. You see all the brushes, and yeah, pretty cool though. So kind of use your creativity to what you can do here. So we'll go to the next video here. This we're calling grid repeat. So this is an extension of our current repeat tool, but we allow creators to basically duplicate or repeat in all axes. So you get X, Y, Z repeat. In this case, I'm only repeating in X and Z, but you can see the power of this where in seconds, I essentially have a whole city. Now I can go in here and add detail work and all of that. So super powerful. Even the windows around those buildings, those were using the grid repeat to quickly just add those repetitive blocks that you want. A lot of other good things in this release. If you want to go back to the last slide, yeah, we put a lot of effort into managing structures as well. I'll talk about a little bit more work we're doing there, but you can now rename structures. You can delete structures. You previously couldn't do this. So a lot of cool things. The extrude visualization, we're having a larger effort of updating selection as a whole, and that was part of kind of that work as well as updating the extrude visualization. So we'll go to the next slide of, hey, what's coming up next? So as I mentioned, a lot of new selection stuff. We basically had a whole overhaul in how selection works. You can now click and drag. What this video is showing is some of our trim actions in different modes. And so this one specifically that you're seeing here allows basically a bounding box to whatever you have selected, ignoring air blocks. And then you can actually only select things that are non-air blocks. And so this is super powerful when it comes to creating structures. So I can now take this into paste preview, and I'm not just pasting those air blocks that you'd have before. And so this is a more natural way of building. If you're working with trees or other structures that you want really close together, you're not deleting blocks with the air blocks, or I should say replacing with air blocks. So as I mentioned, we're doing a lot of new things with selection. We're also focusing our next milestone on just kind of that first user experience. So, hey, are the controls in a place that makes sense for a new user coming in? Do they feel like Minecraft as well as professional tools if people have used 3D software? And then we're adding tutorialization and investing into our onboarding. So a lot of people have given us feedback of, hey, I've never used Editor before. I'm jumping in. How do I use this for the first time? What's the utility? So we really want to make sure that people coming in for the first time really understand the power of Editor. So really fun things coming up.
Yeah, it
That's
looks
it
great.
on the Editor front.
Awesome. And Angelica, do you want to talk about what's coming up for the rest of the platform?
Yeah, we've got a lot of block work coming out. So you'll see most of that coming into experimental first before we release. So, use it, let us know how it's working for you. And about a release later, it'll come out of experimental, but we have a lot of visual stuff related to blocks coming out. As you see here, texture UV locking, culling rules, which is, that work's kind of been broken up. So you might see that rolling out in parts. Destruction particle, so you can set a texture. How does that block look when it breaks? So a lot of cool stuff there. And we are also planning to do some other blocks work after this. So, rolling out throughout the year. All right, and then with kind of world gen related things, jigsaw structures will be coming out of experimental, so we can see those and all sorts of things. Placing features, so expanding a little bit on our features and feature rules. And then spawn rules. So being able to set a custom and exclusive mob spawn in your structures is what that one's all about. And that should be coming out soon also.
Yeah, and there's another special feature that's surprised a little bit that should be coming out in the preview this Wednesday. So stay tuned. It'll be very cool. Stay tuned to this channel for a preview of that capability too. It should be very fun. But yeah, that about wraps it up. I think that's everything that we had that was going on for 1.21.70. Hope that you have smooth installs of the preview and you get of the release of 1.21.70, and you get started playing and creating some really cool stuff. And so with that, thanks for dropping into our update on 1.21.70.